How you doing, folks? This is Deb. So for this video, we're going back to Donald Trump's what he considers a big, beautiful bill, and what I consider to be a monstrous catastrophe for the American people. Now he is pushing the Senate to vote on this before the 4th of July. Okay, he does not want to go on any kind of break without this bill having been voted on. So first of all, this is based on the information here is from a piece that was written by Jennifer Rubin, who used to work for the Washington Post, now has her own publication on Substack called The Contrarian. And just a shout out here to a woman named Elizabeth McDonough, because that's really what this article was written about, was about her. But there's information on the big ugly bill in this that I want to talk about. Now, Elizabeth McDonough is the Senate parliamentarian. And just to show you how horrible this bill would have been had these items not been struck out, I'm going to read some of them to you. So she's determined that the things I'm about to read violate a Senate rule that prohibits extraneous measures in bills like the one Trump wants to pass. So some of the things that she has cut out, uh, you know, she threw out a bunch of Medicaid and Medicare provisions that may total $200 billion. And that included things like uh, throwing certain categories of immigrants off Medicaid and CHIP, reducing the federal match for states that expanded Medicaid, barring gender affirming care, limiting increases in the provider tax, which in effect would severely limit the state's ability to provide health care to millions of people. Um, Removing certain immigrants from Medicare and credits, cost sharing, and the Affordable Care Act. So they've been going after the Affordable Care Act for years. Okay. Now, there's other things too, right? A provision for selling off millions of acres of federal lands. Donald Trump wants to sell off national parks and give them to developers so they can put up, more elite housing for people. Okay. A provision to pass food costs on to the states. A proposed limitation on food aid benefits to certain citizens or lawful permanent residents. Um, a proposal to slash 293 million from the Treasury Department's Office of Financial Research. So there's a whole ton of this stuff, right? Um, they also wanted to deem offshore oil and gas projects automatically compliant with the National Environmental Policy Act. So let's not even look at it. Let's just assume that it's okay. Okay. So these are just some of the things she's cut. I am going to put the article in the YouTube version of this video, and I would urge you to look at it. But there's one thing that she cannot cut, and that is the slashing of Medicaid to give billionaires tax breaks. That remains in this bill. So, of all the things that she's cut, right, the Senate can just choose to ignore her. All right. She's not an elected official. She's not partisan in any way. This is her job to look at the provisions of a bill and make sure they pass muster with the Senate rules. But John Thune has suggested that the Republicans don't want to just ignore it. So what they will try to do is rewrite this and make this more palatable. Or they may just drop some of these. We don't know yet what the score is. But the one piece that remains is the fact that they are going to throw 16 million people in this country off of their health care in order to give tax cuts to the super rich. And Mitch McConnell, who is going to be one of the most annoying people on the planet, said that these people, when they lose their health care, will just, quote, get over it. I wonder if he said that when he was sick. And our taxpayer dollars take care of his health care. So here's what we need to do, folks. And I am pleading with you to do this. I don't care how many times you call these people in a week. Okay, number one, the Democrats have the ability to stall this bill by offering amendments. Okay, you need to call your Democratic legislators. Now, there are some Democratic legislators that understand that this is not business as usual. Okay, we don't need to use their names. You know, the Bernie Sanders, the Elizabeth Warrens, right? We know this. The Chris Murphys, they all know that this is not business as usual. But there are some Democrats out there who think that this is just voting on this is just business as usual. Okay, you know, the John Fettermans, um, and several other people. You know, mostly centrist Democrats. So we need to make sure that we call our Democratic senators and tell them that they need to throw some major shit at this bill. I don't really care, you know, make an amendment to cut legislators' pay, you know, in accordance with how much money they're cutting out of people's health care. Whatever. We know that these things aren't going to pass, these amendments aren't going to be adopted, but that is a way to prevent this bill from being voted on before July 4th and to potentially cause some kind of division between the Republicans in office. Um, and then, wherever you are, if you are in a red state, you need to contact your Republican senators. There are a lot of senators who just eked by. They're in blue states. They may have eked out in their district. And you know what? They're under threat right now because I'm going to say it again. MAGA is on Medicaid and MAGA is on food stamps. There is absolutely no question about it. And you need to make them understand that they have turned their back on their own constituents. Okay? So I'm talking to both Democrats and Republicans who are adversely affected by this bill, as well as, you know, I'm sorry, folks, I don't understand what they were thinking. The Latino population, the people of color who voted for Donald Trump, thinking that somehow he was magically going to take care of you. He does not give a shit about anybody but himself. Giving tax cuts to billionaires benefits him. This is why he does this. Giving us what we deserve as citizens does nothing for him because he does not give a shit about anybody but himself. So we need to call these people. They must have not one day of peace between now and next Friday. Okay? No lie, folks. This is on us now. Get on the phone to the Democrats and get on the phone to the Republicans and let them know you are not happy in any way, manner, shape, or form. I will talk to you all later.